Hey everybody, it's Dana with Engadget. I am here with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S. This is Samsung's new flagship tablet for 2014. As you can see, it's actually two tablets, not one. What I have in my hand is the 8.4-inch one, but you can also purchase a 10.5-inch one. Whichever tablet you get, though, you're getting the same specs, so I won't harp too much on one tablet or the other. What you have here is this gorgeous Super AMOLED display. What's great about this display is that it's adaptive. Now, it's adaptive both in terms of brightness. I can take this outdoors and it'll automatically pump itself up, and mind you, it is bright enough that I can use it in direct sunlight. I took lots of photos earlier today with the 8-megapixel camera around back, and taking photos with that was actually easier than it would be with another tablet because I could look at the screen in direct sunlight. But also it has a built-in RGB sensor, so it adapts the color gamut and the color levels on the display depending on your natural environment. So if for some reason, I don't know, I found myself in a swanky lounge with lots of purple mood lighting, the display would adjust itself accordingly. Around back here you can see that this is basically a blown-up Galaxy S5 smartphone. Also made of plastic. It also has these sort of dimpled dots around back here. So maybe not quite as fancy as an all-metal tablet, but still has a very premium feel, still feels very well made. Part of that, as you'll see, are the dimensions. Whether you get the 8-inch tablet or the 10-inch one, it's 6.6 millimeters thick. Samsung says that's the thickness of 5 credit cards. To put this in even better perspective, that's actually slightly thinner than both the iPad Air and the Retina display iPad mini. So just think of it in those terms, that you already have these two popular tablets that are known for being very thin. Well, this is even thinner, and it's appropriately light. So also like the Galaxy S5, the home button here looks exactly the same. It's the same oval-shaped home button, and there's also, like the Galaxy S5, a fingerprint scanner built in. As you can see, it's a little finicky. I've been testing this for almost a week. I basically never get it right on my first try. Sometimes it tells me to swipe the entire pad again, swipe slower. There's always something. So continuing my walkthrough of the device here, as I said, you're gonna have an 8-megapixel camera around back. You can see there's an LED flash to go with it. Around front, there's a 2.1 megapixel camera in case you want to take any selfies. But in any case, just showing you what the ports are. You've got a micro SD slot on both devices that can support cards as large as 128 gigabytes. You have an infrared blaster here in case you want to use the device as a remote control. You have your typical volume rocker, power lock button. So far, no surprises here. Standard micro USB port for charging, your usual headphone jack, really no surprises here. You've got 2 speakers on this model. On the 8-inch model, it's on the bottom and also on the top. One more thing I want to show you about the hardware, and you may have missed this the first time around, are these 2 circles on the back side of either tablet. These are actually called simple clickers, to use Samsung's marketing terminology, and they're designed to attach optional accessories. So let me give you a quick demo right here. So this is one of 2 covers you can get. This one, as you can see, only covers the front of the device. There's also a different cover that covers both sides. So the way this works is you have to line it up very carefully, and you press the clicker in like so, and then you end up here with this case like this. It's a little bit cumbersome. It would have been nice to have a case that attached magnetically or that just wrapped around the device. So moving away from hardware a bit, let's talk about software. This, at its core, runs Android 4.4 KitKat, but as always, Samsung layered its own TouchWiz UI on top of it. But for people who are used to Samsung devices, you're going to notice this is a cleaner, flatter look than previous TouchWiz devices. In terms of apps, you have a few additions here. Additionally, there's a multi-user mode that allows you to add a total of 7 users. And once you give them a different account, they can set their own password, they can register their own fingerprints for the fingerprint sensor. So that's pretty cool. You have something called Paper Garden, which gives you magazine access, or access, I would say, to a selection of different magazines. In terms of performance, this has an Exynos 5 Octa processor inside. This is one of Samsung's own chips, and it claims to be an 8-core processor, and technically it is. It combines 2 different quad-core processors, one clocked at 1.9 gigahertz and one clocked at 1.3, and only one of those processors is going to be working at a given time. And it's designed so that the more robust processor kicks in when you're doing things like gaming, and the lower clocked one handles mundane tasks like, I don't know, swiping around the OS and things like that. Generally, performance is pretty good. I saw some pretty smooth gaming performance in games like Need for Speed, Most Wanted. The battery life is also great. Battery life is rated at 12 hours of video playback for both the 8 and 10-inch devices. So that's been our walkthrough of the Galaxy Tab S. It's up for pre-order right now, starting at $399 for the small one and $499 for the 10-inch one. And thanks for watching.
Electric self-balancing unicycle that can go on all types of terrains. It can even go up slopes. The guys over at Inventors make it look very easy. Well,